Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Good morning, everybody. Let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Tiz.
Good morning, DJ Envy. Good morning, Jess Hilarious and Charlamagne the Guy.
Good morning.
Now let's jump right to front page news. Let's start off with Trump.
Yeah, so two major developments happened yesterday. I'm going to merge both of the stories in, so keep up with me, guys. Now, this is in regards to Donald Trump being on the ballot. Yesterday, Illinois removed Trump from the ballot because of the insurrection ban. I want you to take a listen to that, and then I'm going to come back and give you some more information.
Anyone voting early or by mail in Chicago can find former President Donald Trump's name on the Republican ballot. Yet Wednesday, a Cook County judge ordered his name removed across the state. Trump's campaign quickly responded, saying, "This is an unconstitutional ruling that we will quickly appeal."
It's an absolutely meaningless decision. This issue is being decided right now by the United States Supreme Court.
CBS 2 legal analyst Irv Miller points out the highest court has two cases regarding the former president.
They have the two big cases right now are the Colorado case, throwing him off the ballot because of the 14th Amendment, and the question of whether or not he has presidential immunity.
The U.S. Supreme Court decided it will hear arguments on April 22nd as to whether Trump should be granted immunity from prosecution.
So just to recap, they're already early voting in Illinois. He's already on the ballot. Donald Trump's already on the ballot. So that means people are already voting for him. So when those numbers come in, we'll be able to see, to give us a good idea to see, despite them, saying he shouldn't be on the ballot and you shouldn't be voting for him, how many people will still vote for Trump as well. And so this is the first time this has happened in this way. So I think that was very interesting. And then to talk about what happened yesterday, of course, he'll appeal this to the Illinois Supreme Court. But speaking of appeals, the U.S. Supreme Court decided, which is conservative, by the way, it's 6 conservatives and 3 liberals, the most conservative Supreme Court we've had in 90 years. They decided they will hear Trump's appeal to decide if he is immune from his involvement in January 6th. And now by doing this delays the decision, delays the trial for the election interference case. Take a listen.
Tonight, the U.S. Supreme Court deciding to weigh in on a critical issue that could make or break the special counsel's case against former President Trump, agreeing to decide whether Mr. Trump must be shielded from prosecution by claiming presidential immunity for the acts he took leading up to January 6th. Those acts the basis for the criminal election interference case he's now facing in federal court. The move further delaying any trial in the case, likely for months. And if Mr. Trump wins, the charges would be dismissed. Arguments now set for the week of April 22nd. An appeals court had ruled against him, saying former President Trump has become Citizen Trump with all of the defenses of any other criminal defendant. But Mr. Trump hoped the Supreme Court would put that on pause, saying he was being wrongly prosecuted for official acts that happened while he was still in office.
I have a quick question. With all that going on, we talk about Trump being removed off the ballot, right? And a couple of states have done it.
He won't be. Supreme Court is officially, they're all over on Trump's side. They're not going to keep him off any ballots.
Okay. Because I was going to say, even with that, aren't these Democratic states that are doing it regardless? So does it really matter? Because usually Democratic would win those states, and these are like electoral votes, so it really doesn't matter. These states have never been a Republican state regardless?
Well, so there's two different questions here. So you're talking about if Democrats or Republicans win a state, that has to do, with elections. Right. And this is about on the judicial side. Right. And this is why, again, Supreme Courts matter. Even your state level Supreme Court, it matters how many people, on the Supreme Court that are liberal or conservative. It does make a difference. So to Charlamagne's point, that once they appeal at the state level and the Supreme Court at the state level says, hey, you know what, we think he should be off the ballot, which is what happened in this case. He can then go to the United States Supreme Court, which is, like Charlamagne just mentioned, heavy conservative. It's 6 conservatives. Right. So more than likely than not, they'll say, no, let's not take him off the ballot. So on the judicial side, he can still be on the ballot. Your question is, should it really matter? Right. Because if Democrats get out the vote like they should, which has the majority of the population, not just on the popular side, but the electoral side, then he should win outright. And that is the question that we keep asking. Why are the polls showing what they're showing? Should there be concern that you have a president with 91 charges and literally owing almost $500 million and Democrats don't have a better showing? Is that what you're asking? Like, should it matter anyway? You basically saying, should it matter? He should be able to be elected whether he's on the ballot or not. That's pretty much what you're saying, right?
Yes, that's what I was asking.
I just don't know why we keep acting like any of this stuff is normal, man. Supreme Court is on Trump's side. They're not going to keep him off any ballots. They are absolutely going to grant him immunity. 3 of those justices he appointed. Clarence Thomas going to fall in line. Alito is no different. And when that happens, I hope y'all know it's pretty much over. Like that whole dictatorship, authoritarian rule thing we keep talking about, we well on our way to that.
All right. Well, that is front page news. Now, what are we talking about next hour?
Yeah, Donald Trump just keeps staying in the news on the front page. So we're going to talk about, he did ask for his civil judgment to be reduced to $100 million. The judge said no, he wants all $454 million. And also Joe Biden had a physical yesterday and they did not test his mental fitness. They said they didn't need to test his mental fitness at all as well. So we'll be talking about that at 7 o'clock hour.
This is insane. I just want y'all to know that. None of this is normal.
He said, I'm good. You ain't got to test that. I'm good. What's your name?
I
don't know.
Everything we're talking about is just insane.
It's crazy.
Somebody running for president with 91 criminal charges, 2 impeachments, 4 indictments, Supreme Court on his side, and we got a president
take a physical.
Taking physicals and not doing. I don't. Never mind.
I said, what's your name? He said, Batman.
I don't know what to tell you.
So my name is Batman, but I'm good. Well, don't worry about it. All right, get it off your chest.
Laugh now, cry later.
585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open again. 800-585-1051. Get it off your chest. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. What's up, Tiz?
What's going on, DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy.
Peace, Tiz.
Now let's get right back into it. You were talking more Donald Trump.
Yes, more Donald Trump. He keeps staying in the news. And here's the latest on him having to pay the $450 million civil fine judgment. He asked for it to be reduced to $100 million. The judge said, no, I need all of that. Let's take a listen.
An appeals court judge in New York said that Donald Trump must post the entirety of this bond, $454 million, including the interest on the judgment, in order to satisfy the judgment to stop the New York Attorney General's office from trying to move forward to execute that. Now, this is a ruling from one judge, so it is temporary in nature, and there will be further briefings on this. But what the judge said is that Trump will have to come up with this money. He has about until essentially the end of March to do this.
So let me kind of recap. So remember when he got the $450 million judgment and folks are saying, oh, well, he could just appeal. He doesn't have to pay for it. That is this case. I know it's confusing because it's 50 cases going on, but that is this case. He said, we can't afford it. His attorneys actually said they couldn't afford it, even though he said he's worth $10 billion. So they said, can we reduce it to $100 million? The judge said, no, you either have to pay $450 million in cash or try to get a bond. And that bond would actually be $550 million due to the fees. And the bond company wants 120% of the judgment. And they will only accept cash, not real estate. So the thing is that helped him, though, in this case is the judge did pause. Remember, he had a 3-year ban on getting any loans in New York. Mm-hmm. So the judge did pause that to allow Trump to get a loan to pay back this debt. So he has 30 days to do it. And then don't forget, the interest is piling up every day at $100,000. And the E. Jean Carroll judgment is also due at $83 million. So right now it's a little bit over $600 million. But again, he said he's worth $10 billion, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, he don't have the money. So what happens if he doesn't have? What happens if he doesn't have the money? And because you said they don't take real estate. So what happens if he just simply can't pay it?
Well, the bond company said they're not taking real estate, but attorney Letitia James can absolutely start seizing properties, and will probably that's what she'll do once they get to this deadline. And he hasn't paid anything cash.
But doesn't it matter it's the bond company that matters, though, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask because
he could put up cash. Go ahead,
I'm saying he don't. What if he don't have the cash? Because clearly it seems like he don't have it.
Yeah, well, if he don't have the cash and he don't figure it out in some type of way, then Letitia James can go ahead and start seizing property and selling it.
But if they seize the property and sell it, right, and then he appeals and then he wins the appeal, what happens to that property? Does he get that money back? Like, how does that work? Because he's putting it up for the appeal, right? Or no?
Right. Again, he has to have the money while he's appealing. So he could care less about the appeal. You have to put the money up. You either put it up in cash or you get a bond. One of the two. Has nothing to do with the appeal. So I guess we're doing a bunch of hypotheticals, but if he wins the appeal, then I guess, they'll owe him and they'll have to figure out a way to pay him back, I guess. But as of how it stands right now, just because you appeal doesn't mean you don't have to pay this judgment. This judgment is due.
I'm confused, though. If they don't take if they don't take real estate, what's the point of seizing the real estate? If they don't take, if the bond people don't take
the bond company doesn't take real estate, but the state of New York will take real estate. That's the difference. Yeah. So going to a bail bondsman and saying, hey, I need you to put up $450 million. I said, okay, cool. It's going to cost you $550. You got to pay. We want our 120% of it. We want our $18 million fee, and we want the bond amount. Two different things. The state of New York can seize the property and sell it to get their money.
Got you. So what happens if he can't cover any of these things? Like what happens? Like what happens if nothing gets paid for, nothing gets taken care of?
But they're gonna take his real estate. He has the real estate. They're gonna take that.
He has the real estate, which is why this is a problem in the beginning. So
I'm sure some foreign country will cover his bill. Russia might take care of it.
Yeah, they talking about that too.
Russia got it.
No, Russia will take care of it.
They got to be like, yo, he got it.
All of a sudden, he'll get some big windfall of cash over the next 30 days, and everybody will be wondering where it came from. And then it'll get tied back to Russia.
They'll be signed by Putin.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Charlamagne, that's a real thing. Like people were talking about that as a real concern. They were saying, this is a great time for a foreign country to step in and buy him. People mentioned Saudi Arabia or other that he might just get this money from somewhere else.
He's already in these people's pockets. Russia or China gonna take care of it.
But can they do that? But like Putin, like Trump's my guy, I'm gonna help him out. Could they do that? Because he's Wow.
Well, he's not in office right now, so it wouldn't be considered. It would be taking money from a foreign country, which is what they said that they don't like that Joe Biden's son did, Hunter Biden. So pretty much everything's on the table, Envy. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. That's clear.
All right. Well, thank you, Tez.
And make sure you follow at Tesla and Figaro on all social media platforms at Tesla and Figaro, and subscribe to the Straight Shot No Chaser podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio podcast network.
All right, and when we come back, Money Long will be joining us. Of course, she has the hit record Hours and Hours, and a new single. I don't know the name of it, but all I know is Twin, Where Have You Been?
Made for Me.
Okay, that's the name of it. Thank you, Jess. We're going to talk to Money Long when we come back. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.